So we talked this morning that the first altar na tinayo po ni Abraham ay tinatawag po natin altar of the call. Doon po niya na-experience, naranasan niya ang presensya ng Panginoon. The first time God appeared to him. And he did not want to forget that. He did not want to lose that. Ang problema po sa atin lahat, karamihan, kinalimutan na po ang dating mga karanasan po natin. Dating mga mensahe ng Panginoon sa atin. Ang ating mga naranasan dati with the Lord. How the Lord provided, how the Lord healed us. If we continue to nurture those altars, we will never be shaken. Sometimes, may karamdaman sang tao, takot na takot. Nakalimutan nila na hindi naman first time sila nagkasakit. Ngunit nakalimutan na nila nung nakaraan mga karanasan when the Lord healed them. Sometimes we encourage need and we are afraid, Lord, kulang ang pera ko, kulang ang pamasahe ko, kulang ang matrikula ng mga anak ko. And we forgot that this is not the first time we are in need, that the Lord has been providing for us. Why? Because we forgot to build the altar. We have nowhere to go to. We did not set the standards and the milestone, so nothing to hang us, nothing for us to recalibrate again. So we lose our way after a while. Parang walang nangyari sa atin. Wala tayong natutunan sa mga naranasan natin dati dahil we forgot to build the altar. So the second altar that he built was when he called on the Lord. That was the altar of devotion. That was the altar of the promise. When the Lord said, "I'm going to give you that place," he did not inherit that place yet. Remember, the Lord promised in Genesis 12 to Abraham, "I'm going to give you and your offspring." When is the time when that prophecy was fulfilled? 430 some years later. It took that long. Kung minsan iniisip po natin ang pangako ng Panginoon at ang mga plano ng Panginoon ay dapat magampanan natin sa loob ng sa buhay natin in our lifetime. That is too short. That is too short. Sometimes the Lord will promise us something that is for our children's and our children's children. The Word of God and the promises of God has no expiration date. Tayo lang naglalagay ng petsa eh. Lord, kailangan ko ng next month ha. Kung sa katapusan, wala, patay na ako. Well, that's what you think. But God did not. So same way, many churches are built, the pastor's plan na dapat ito matupad natin sa habang ako pang pastor nyo. Napakaliit po ng pangitain yun. That's a very small and limited vision. Because when you are thinking about advancing the kingdom of God, it's wave after wave, generation upon generation. That's why it's important for pastors and leaders to train more leaders, train future people who will pick it up and continue on. And some people, my intention was not to criticize, but to learn from those experiences. Some people, they named their ministry after them. Willie Chua International Ministry. Kung nakasala si Willie Chua, kung nasiraan ng bait si Willie Chua, kung nagkasakit at hindi na makapagsilbi, walang silbi na, o kung namatay, anong mangyayari sa trabaho niya? Anong mangyayari sa tawag ng Panginoon sa buhay niya? Dapat tuloy. If I name it after me and I don't exist anymore, the work will die. Mahirap po, may mga attempts dyan eh. Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. So when Billy Graham died, the son tried to take. Alam ng buong mundo, patay na si Billy Graham. So wala. Eventually, they have to go to Samaritan Purse. Why? Because it's dead. The person is dead. Why? Did God limit it? No. They use his name. Lester Sumrall Evangelistic Association, my spiritual father, he died. So there's no more let's see. because it was limited after them. Sometimes when we are planning, we have to think far. We have to look far. We have to consider beyond one lifetime. It's very important for us to do that. That's why, like for me, my ministry, and also with Pastor Say, when we sat down to talk about, we said, at that time we were 20 some years old. So we said, we are going to start a ministry. Jose and Willie and Association, pag patay na tayo, wala. Sa tingin mo ba, there's a chance that Jesus will not yet be back then. So there is still work to be done. So we decided to call it Lion's Heart. Why? Lion's Heart is bigger than the two people. Anybody, it's not limited to our children. No. In fact, anybody with the boldness of a lion, with the heart of a lion, they can take over. Our job, we understood, is so big. Our job is to lay down the foundation. And then somebody else will build on the foundation. So, kapag nakapag-lay na kami ng foundation in our lifetime, we believe we have done a good job. Because we understand that the work that God is entrusting to us is so big. That's why when we are planning our ministry, we have to seek God. Instead of putting our names on it, let's put something that would go beyond one lifetime. And that was what happened. God promised Abraham. Abraham continued to go back. Why? Lord, you promised to give me this land. I will stay in this land. Do I own it? Not yet. But you promised it will come to pass. And years later, century later, it came to pass. Now the third one is in Genesis chapter 13, verses 5 to 18. Genesis 13, 5 to 18. Now Lot, who was traveling with Abram, also had flocks, herds, and tents. But the land was unable to support them as long as they stayed together. For they had so many possessions that they could not stay together. And there was quarreling between the herdsman of Abram's livestock and the herdsman of Lot's livestock. At that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were living in the land. Can you say that at that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were living in the land? Yeah. Remember that. We'll go back to that. So Abram said to Lot, please, let's not have quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsman and my herdsman. Since we are relatives, or we are brothers, isn't the whole land before you? Separate from me. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left. Lot looked out and saw the entire plain of the Jordan as far as Zoar was well watered everywhere, like the Lord's garden in the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the entire plain of the Jordan for himself. Say, for himself. Then Lot journeyed eastward, and they separated from each other. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, but Lot lived in the cities on the plains and set up his tent near Sodom. Now, the men of Sodom were evil, sinning immensely against the Lord. After Lot had separated from him, the Lord said to Abram, look, from the place where you are. Can you say, from the place where you are? Look north and south, east and west, for I will give you and your offspring forever all the land that you see. I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust of the earth, then your offspring could be counted. Get up and walk around the land through its length and width, for I will give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and went to live near the oaks of Mamre at Hebron, where he built an altar to the Lord. Now here's the story that Lot, ang pamangkin niya si Lot ay sumabit lang. Okay? Napaka-importante to. Nung sa Genesis chapter 12, ang sabi ng Genesis 12, nung nagpakita ang Panginoon kay Abraham at sabi na, leave this place, I will give you a land, I will show you. At that time, he was 75 years old. Sabi niya, and Lot, his nephew, go with him. Walang sinasabi, pero ang daming sinasabi dito. Bakit? Dito makikita po natin ang kapangyarihan ng isang taong may integridad. Kapag may integridad ka at credibility, ang tao ay maniniwala sa iyo. Dahil nagpakita ang Panginoon kay Abraham. Hindi naman nagpakita kay Sarah. Hindi naman nagpakita kay Lot. Kay Abraham lang. So, imagine nyo, pag uwi ni Abraham, sabi niya sa misis niya, mahal, may nagpakita sa akin. Sino yun? Diyos. Anong itsura na? Hindi ko alam, basta may narinig lang ako. Sabi na daw, iwanan ko daw itong lugar na ito, iwanan ko mga kamag-anak ko dahil meron siyang ipapakita sa akin. Ibibigay niya sa akin. At pagpapalain niya daw ako. Lahat in the future tense. He will bless me, He will give me, He will show me, He will make my name blessed, He will curse those who curse me. In short, everything you want me to do it now. Leave my country, my people, my father's household now. Gusto mo ako magsakripisyo ngayon. Isanla ko lahat ngayon. Pero ang pangako mo naman lahat sa future. Maari mangyari, maari hindi. At sinabi niya sa misis niya, maaaring tinanong ni Sarah, sino yun? Di ko alam. Anong itsura niya? Hindi ko nga nakita, narinig ko ng boses. Anong sabi niya? Punta daw ako may pupuntahan daw kami. Saan? Doon daw. Saan mismo? Ilan araw? Di ko alam. Basta papakita niya daw sa akin. Anong gagawin? Ibibigay daw sa atin. Kailan? Hindi na sinabi, basta ibibigay daw sa atin. Iwanan mo lahat ng ari-arian natin, mga kamag-anak natin dito. Pupunta, di mo ba alam, wala kang hinahawakan na sigurado, wala kang timetable, wala kang petsa. And yet, anong nangyari? Hindi pumalag si Sarah, sumama. Now, maaari sinasabi mo, no choice siya misis siya bakit sumama ang pamangkin na si Lot? Because of the power of his credibility. Iniisip ng bata, hindi ko kilala itong sinasabi ng Diyos. Hindi ko rin sure kung anong papakita. Pero kilala ko yung tiyo ko. Hindi siya nagsisinungaling. Hindi siya nag-exaggerate. Kapag sinabi niya na nagpakita sa kanyang Panginoon, kilala ko yun Hindi magsisinungaling yun. Totoo yun. Naniniwala ako. At papakita, sasama ako. Have you noticed? Sasama sila sa isang lugar na hindi pa nila napuntahan, ang tanda na yung tiyo niya, 75 years, kung namatay, anong gagawin nila sa kaligitnaan ng disyerto? And yet, Lot was willing to bet everything and follow. Why? Because when you have credibility, many times, even when people don't understand, they still believe you. That happened to me. It was an encouragement to me. Sometimes when I tell my wife something, she did not understand. But because she knows me, she would say, okay, sabi mo okay, if you say so, I believe that. One time, well, actually, I can use that as example later, but one time, 2008, the Lord told me to go to Dumaguete every month for 12 months. Magtuturo daw ako ng pananampalataya. And sabi ng Panginoon, sabi ko, anong gagawin ko? Be a model. Model faith. So, that was what set my ministry. I don't raise fund. I don't raise support. I don't say, alam mo, pinapunta ko ng Panginoon, suportahan mo naman ako. Kapag ang Panginoon nag-utos sa'yo, di siyang mag-finance. Right? Sometimes we do that. It's like, may mga magulang pa po dito? Magulang? Kayo, may mga anak po kayo. Kapag dating ng hapunan o tanghalian, yung mga anak mo pupunta sa kapitbahay, kakatok. Aling Rosa, pwede po makikain kami? Kasi sabi ng nanay ko, dapat kumain na kami, pero wala kaming makakain Di ba nakakahiya? Bilang mga magulang, parang ano isipin ng ibang tao na hindi ako mabuting magulang. Same way, sometimes we behave like that. We said God asked us to do something. Then we go around giving them, I want to share with you the story. Ito ang account number ko. You pray to God. You pray to God. And one of the things I like about revealing Jesus is, I've known them since 2008. They never ask for anything. Matindi man ang pangailangan, kapit lang sa Panginoon. God will speak to other people. But that is not the case everywhere. There are so many ministry going around asking, pressuring for, iniiwasan na nga ng ibang tao eh. Kung minsan nga, pati hindi mananampalataya, hinihingan eh. Kaya takot, kaya iniisip po ng mga ibang unbeliever na kayo mga Kristiyano, ang habol mo lang, pera ko eh. So again, how we do things will honor God. It will honor God. And so, 2008, the Lord set you model faith. So I was going to Dumaguete every month. Lahat ng sahod ko, lahat binuhos maliban pambayad ng upa sa bahay, buhos ko sa conference, pinapakain ko silang lahat, walang registration, wala yung mga galing malayo. Binabayaran ko pa yung tirahan nila. Kasi mga iba nag-hitchhike lang sa bagas saka sa ambulansya para makaabot lang sa site para makapag-attend. So I took care. I remember the first time, January, umattend po 165 pastors. Ubus ang pera ko, 100,000 plus. Alam ko, nung nagbabayad, kinausap po ako ni Sister Cherry. Sabi na, Han, kung next month dumami yung tao, paano na tayo? Wala na tayong matitira. I remember what I told her. Sabi ko, Han, di dapat lumago din ang pananampalataya natin? Kung dumami ang tao, ibig sabihin lumago. That was January 2008. When in April 2008, 3 months later, the attendees grew from 160 plus to 250 to 300 something to 800. From April of 2008 all the way until December. May isang beses umuwi kami, pagbaba namin sa taxi sa bahay, umiiyak kami. Bakit? May natirang 20 pesos. Nagpapasalamat kami sa Panginoon na hindi kami nakulangan. May tira pang 20 pesos. Nobody knew that. Akala ng mga taga Dumaguete, yaman-yaman mo. Walang nakakaalam. Kami lang ng Panginoon, kami lang mag-asawa at saka Panginoon lang. And then one time, nung August, that happened. There was a time na walang-wala na. Kinausap ko ng mga anak ko. Sabi ko, hindi ako maghihingi ng pera. Pero kayo, anak ko, may mga ipon kayo. Ako, walang ipon, lahat sa ministry eh. Baka i-pray mo kung gusto mong pumartner sa akin. So my children emptied their accounts. Yung bunso, naglabas 11 years old, 9 years old, naglabas pa ng calculator. Magkano pa ang tira? Gusto niya, eksakto. Binatukan ng kuya. Ikaw, kala mo, madamot ka. So, lahat sila, they empty their, And then one time, August of 2008, I did not tell anybody. 2 days before we left, my mother was rushed into the hospital. She was 90 years old. Bago ako umalis sa Dumaguete. So, sabi ng St. Luke's na kailangan down payment, 100 plus thousand. Down payment ko. Kinausap ako ng doktor sa emergency room. Sabi na, sir, kung sakaling may nangyari, gusto mo ba i-revive? So, yun ang pinag-usapan, malubha ng kalagayan niya. 90 years old na. So, sabi ko, wag na. Total, she lived right old. He's going to heaven. And so, I remember sa labas ng ER, kinausap ko si Sister Cherry. Sabi ko sa misis ko, siguro cancel na lang natin yung Dumaguete. Itong sabi ng misis ko, kaya young people, if you're looking for wife, you look for godly wife of faith. Sabi niya, Han, when the Lord asked you to go to Dumaguete last December, sa tingin mo ba, hindi na alam mangyari itong ngayon to? Alam. Alam pala eh. Bakit nangyari pa? Ibig sabihin, He's in control. Ganun na lang, sabi niya. Ituloy mo, ikaw pumunta, ako nang maiiwan. Total, anong magagawa mo dito? Hindi ka naman doktor. Tsaka yung mga ibang tao, attendee, galing sa Tawi-Tawi, tsaka galing sa Davao, nasa daan na yun nakihits ng red, 3 araw yun So too late na, i-cancel mo yun. Ituloy mo na. Total, siyang nag-worship leader, sabi niya, pwede ka naman maghanap ng ibang worshiper, ikaw lang nag-preach, so ikaw na lang pumunta. Yun ang unang beses, isa-isang beses na habang nagtuturo pa ko, yung telephone nasa pulpito. Minomonitor ko Nung pangatlong araw, closing ceremony. Tama-tama, closing prayer. Pag-pray ko to dismiss the group, the conference, pumasok ang ng text. Mom went home to be with the Lord. So, last night na. So, I was supposed to bring some volunteers out to lunch, to dinner. Thank you. Pero wala My mom passed away. So, I just told my friend, Evelyn, I said, can you take them to lunch? I'll just stay in my room. So I was grieving in my room. And then by 2 o'clock, marami na pong mga mensahe, text galing abroad, kumalat na condolence, ganun. And then tumawag si Sister Cherry, 2:00 ng madaling araw. Actually, 1:30, sabi niya, Han, hindi pwedeng i-release yun bangkay ni Mama. Kasi hindi pa bayad, may utang pa 100,000+. Biglang naisip ko, yung pangbayad ko dito sa Dumaguete, yun ang pang-down ko Wala na akong pera. So wala akong mapadala sa kanya, bukas paano ko umuwi? Hindi ako makakaalis dito, may utang pa ako. Lalo akong umiyak. Dahil paano na? So I prayed to God. I said, Lord, you sent me here. Cherry was right, you sent me here. I'm not going to ask anything. This is your will, this is your bill. After a while, my wife called me. My brother, yung bayaw ko, may pera. Mira mo, you have more than 100,000 in your house. Hating gabi, sabi niya, may pera daw siya sa bahay. Sasagutin niya, hindi niya i-advance, sagot niya. So you don't have to pay, you don't have to worry. Para ma-release ng bangkay. So, at least sold na. Pero ang problema ko, paano ako mag-check out? Yung hotel, yung catering, 3 araw yun for 800 people. Ang flight ko, 8 o'clock. Alis ako bago mag-7 dahil malapit ng airport sa hotel. Di ko alam. Pray ako ng pray. Lord, paano na? 6:20 a.m., nakring yung phone ko, nagulat ako. Dahil walang nakakaalam kung saan ako nakatira, kung anong room number ko Pagsagot ko, may isang babae. Ang sabi po niya, is this Pastor Willie? Sabi ko, yes. So nagpakilala siya. Kilala ko yun, isang attender. Sabi niya, Pastor, good morning. Sorry to bother you. I called kasi birthday ko. So sabi ko, happy birthday. Love ko naman, birthday mo, namatayan na ako. Birthday mo, pero sinabi ko na, happy birthday. Sabi ko, no, Pastor, kasi, jeweler po siya. Medyo kilala sa Dumaguete. Sabi niya, kasi pinagpag-pray ko, ang leading ng Lord, yung budget ko, kasi every year, malaking party. Ang sabi ng Panginoon sa akin, this year, yun pang party ko, mag-support daw ako ng ministry. Habang nagpre-pray, kayo po ang na-appear sa mind ko. Alam ko, mayaman ka, hindi mo love ko. Sino nagsabi sa'yo? Ay isipin kasi hindi ka nagtatanggap ng offering. Kaya akala niya mayaman ako. Sa tahimik lang ako. Sabi niya, pero yun ang sabi ni Lord nasagutin ko daw. Sabi ko, well, kung yun ang sabi ng Panginoon, hindi ko naman pwedeng pigilin, pero hindi ko alam magkano. Sabi, hindi, okay lang ba sa'yo? Sabi ko, hindi ko pa alam kung magkano. Sabi, hindi, okay ba sa'yo? Sabi, hindi ko nga alam kung magkano kasi baka mapasubo siya. Sabi, hindi, okay lang ba sa'yo? Sabi ko, okay naman, pero okay. Kasi bago ko kayo kinausap, tinanong ko na front desk sa kayong caterer, alam ko na magkano. So okay, so sinagot na niya. So pagbaba ko, elevator, front desk, kilala na ako So sabi ko, check out. Sabi na, okay na, Pastor, settled na lahat. Sabi ko, so tumingin ako sa lobby, yung caterer. Kinausap na rin niya yung babae, okay na. Tsaka nagsabi, kasi usually, nagta-tricycle lang ako papuntang airport. Kinausap, inupa yung van ng hotel, yung van ang magdadala siya sa airport. Wala akong pera nun. Namatay na ako. I went there as son, I went back to Manila an orphan. But God, that never happened after that. That was the only time when I was trapped. The Lord took care of me without me telling anybody. Hindi nga niya alam na matay na ako eh. And then that year, December, so that year, ang binuhos ko, more than 1 million for the conference. Sagot ko, lahat. Wala akong savings, lahat pumunta dyan. The whole year, more than 1. More than 1.5. The conference ended December 6, 2008. About few days later, my boss gave me a bonus. Guess how much is the bonus? Around that, a little over 1.5. I never get that big all my life bonus. So natanggap ko. That was the December, I think 10 or something, basta a few days later. And then, January 1, I was watching year-end, yung news, di ba? Summarize. Biglang may breaking news. Flash flood sa Dumaguete. Nung narinig kong Dumaguete, biglang, kasi gagagaling ko lang dyan. The whole year, I devoted to Dumaguete. Flash flood, kasi may natangay daw mga bahay at may na-rescue na dalawang tao. Ini-interview rin siya. Sabi ko, teka, si Mang Ikning yun, nakamukha ni Mang Ikning, yung bellboy. Yung naghatid sa akin sa airport. So, si Mang Ikning yata yun natangay yung bahay at kamuntik malunod, na rescue lang siya. So, ini-interview ba? And then may pangalan, Ignacio. Pero hindi ko alam, Ignacio, baka siya yun, di pa sure. So, January 1 yun. Nung 2 days later, pagbalik ko sa office, tinawagan ko yung hotel. Kilala na ako ng hotel. Pastor, sabi ko, nakita ko sa news na may na victim ng flash flood. Si Mang Ikning yun. Siya ba yun? Kumusta siya? Okay naman, pero wala. Lahat natangay, walang bahay, ganon. Sabi ko, gusto ko sana magpadala ng konting tulong. Sige, padala mo na lang dito sa hotel. Kami na nang magbibigay. Okay, di pinadala. So, I was praying for him. And then the Lord said, yung bonus mo, thank you pala, Panginoon, sa tuwa. Hindi, yung bonus mo, hindi sa'yo yun. I want you to buy him a house and lot. So, nung family devotion namin, binanggit ko sa pamilya. Sabi ko, kinausap ako ng Panginoon. Yung bonus ko, hindi daw sa atin yun. Kilala naman nila si Mang Ikning kasi lahat sumama sa akin sa Dumaguete. Sabi ko, para kay Mang Ikning yung bili ng bahay at lupa. Ang tanong ng misis ko, Han, tayo nag-uupat ng bahay Pagkatapos, wala tayong pambili ng bahay. Pagkatapos, bibilhan mo siya ng house and lot. Sabi ko, yun ang sabi ng Panginoon. Kung yun ang sabi ng Panginoon, okay. Ganun lang. Why? Because my wife knew, hindi ako erratic. When I said that is the power, lalo mga mister. Hindi supportive in misis ko. Siguro wala kang kredibilidad. Kung may credibility, even if they don't understand, they will follow. Even if they don't understand, they will believe. Even if they don't know your God, they know you and your testimony. And so that's how the Lord provided. So we were able to bless him. And of course, long story short, 1.5 years later, the Lord gave me with a house and lot. That's the house we are living. Kasi yung boss ko, 2 weeks na hindi makakatulog. So pinapunta ko sa office, sabi niya, do me a favor, I want to sleep. Sabi ko, Hindi ko maintindihan, anong pinagsasabi mong we want to sleep? Hindi naman ako sleep expert. Sabi niya, kasi 2 weeks, actually 15 days, hindi na ako makakatulog. So mag-sleeping pills ako pagkatapos ng dinner, mga 7:38. Pagkatapos 11, gising pa ako. So magse-second tablet ako. Alas 3, gising pa ako. Third tablet ako. Nang mga alas 5:30, may boses sinasabi, buy Willie a house and lot, buy Willie a house and lot. That was the voice I heard, buy Igning a house and lot. And now he's hearing buy Willie and house and lot. Sabi na, I'm going crazy. Why don't you buy house and lot? Sabi ko, madaling sabihin yun. Saan manggagaling yung pera? Sabi, no. Hanap ka ng bahay. Gusto mo ba kondo o ano? Sabi ko, gusto ng misis ko doon sa subdivision. O din doon ka na lang. Hindi ko naman, sabi mo, hindi. Alam mo magkano? Gusto ko matulog. So pag uwi ko, sinabi ko kay Sister Cherry, at tinawag ako sa office, sabi ng chairman, may boses daw nagsasabi, bilhin daw tayo ng house and lot. Kaya pinapahanap sa atin kung saan gusto natin. Ang sabi ni Sister Cherry, mali ang pakinig mo. Hindi mo naman kilala yung boss mo kasi kuripot yung boss ko eh. Yung super yaman na super kuripot, yung ballpen niya, panda ballpen. Pagkatapos meron papel yun. Okay, June 6, 2:13 p.m. ginamit niya. Pagkatapos kung ubos na, next, ititingnan yung record, tatawagan yung secretary niya. Oh, last time, 16 days ko ginamit. Ito, 14 days lang. Bakit? Ganon talaga minomonitor niya. Ang yaman po niya, yung isang bahay niya, binenta kay Richard Gomez. 82 million yun sa Forbes. And yet, lahat ng sasakyan niya second hand. At required ng lahat ng executive, bawal, kahit na sariling pera, bawal, wala akong trabahador na magbibili ng brand new. Sayang pera. Ganun. One of our businesses is pinakamalaking paper mill kami. Lahat ng dyaryo, papel namin yun. Lahat ng tissue, halos lahat ng tissue, mga pot paper, produkto namin yun. Pero siya, hindi siya kakain o magpapalibre kung walang promo, 50% off. Pagdating sa restaurant, kung alam niya, libre yung mani, sige pa, 2 pang plato, iuwi na yun. Pagkatapos pati tissue, produkto namin yun eh. Inuuwi na yun kasi libre. Ganun po siya kuripot. Kaya nung sabi ko ni Sister Cherry, mali ang pakinig ko. Mali. After 2 weeks, sa kanya tumawag, pwede ka ba dumaan sa office? Kakausapin ko kayo mag-asawa. That's when they told, inulit niya. Hindi ako makakatulog. Gusto ko makatulog. Sinabi ko na kay Willie, maghanap. So, tinignan ko si Sister Cherry. Hindi ako nakamali, Sabi niya, ganun na lang. Baka nahihiya kayo. Sige. Tinawag din sekretary niya. Ito, 20 million, 20 million. Hawak mo muna. Kapag nakahanap na sila ng lupa, kumuha ka sa kanya. Sa sekretary niya para hindi ka mahihiya na kumuha sa siyempre sabi na mahal lahat kung may lupa ka na hanap ka ng arkitekto pero hanap mo simple lang kasi yung arkitekto bawat guhit may bayad yun kuripot pa rin pero sabi niya simple lang pagkatapos kung magkano pang kulang sabihin mo ibibigay. Alam ni Sister Cherry na wala nang available sa subdivision na inuupahan namin. Kasi maraming nag-i-inquire. Nung sinabi ng boss yun, baka sakali, tinanong lang ng officer, meron pa bang? Sabi, meron itong bahay, luma na, pero binibenta, pero sobrang mahal So tinanong niya, kumatok, may nagbukas, sabi niya, direct buyer ka ba or ahente? Kasi kami nagdi-deal lang sa direct buyer. Sabi, direct buyer naman, magkano? Sabi niya, sa magulang ko, 9 kami magkakapatid, kausapin, kung serious ka, mag-set ka ng appointment sa kapatid ko, siyang spokesperson, mag-usap na lang kayo, siyang may power of attorney, mag-decide kung magkano. So sabi ko, sige, iset mo na lang meeting. Nung araw ng meeting, pagpunta ko, nakita ko kaibigan ko, sabi, anong ginagawa mo dito? Sabi, anong ginagawa mo dito? Sabi, teka, ikaw ba yung buyer? Sabi ko, di ko alam dito ka nakatira kasama ko sa Bible study. Sabi niya, ako nga, dito nga ako lumaki, hindi ko alam. Ang binibenta nilang lote sa lumang bahay, 26 million. And then ang sabi niya, dito po ang lumalabas ang, you cannot outgive God. Ang sabi niya, bro, natandaan mo ba 12 years ago? Nung nakahanap kami ni Laila, yung misis niya, ng bahay, sa buong prayer group natin, ikaw lang ang nag-fast and pray sa amin. Kaya nakahanap kami ng bahay. Hindi ko na matandaan sa dami kong pinag-pray. Hindi ko na matandaan. 12 years ago, sabi niya, I will never forget that. Sabi niya, bro, akong bahala. Kakausapin ko mga kapatid ko at sa pamangkin ko. So after that, he called me. He said, kinausap ko na, you will get it 15 million. From 26 million to 15. Sabi ko, wow. Hindi na kailangan tawat-tawat. Siya na mismo nagtawat eh. So, okay na. So, pumunta ako sa office, kumuha yung manager's check. Kaninong papangalan. So, tinawagan ko yung friend ko. Sabi ko, oh, bro, ihahanda ko yung check, no? Yung manager's check. Kasi magsasign na kami ng contract. Sabi ko, yung mga amount saka pay kung ano. Sabi na, ilagay mo lang itong pangalan, ganon. Amount is 13,500,000. Sabi ko, akala ko 15 million. Sabi na, yung share ko sa, iwa-waive ko na. Dahil pinak-pray mo ako 12 years ago. See? You can never outgive God. From 26 to 13.5. And then, of course, when we started drawing, kulang yun. My boss gave. So the whole house is almost 40 million, 30-some million he gave. And then he said, pakulang pa, sabihin mo sa akin. Nung patapos na, yun sa likod namin, yun lanay namin, kailangan ng tiles, wala na. Sabi ni Sister Cherry, Han, ubos ng fan natin eh. Sabihin mo na lang sa office, ito lang para matapos na kasi aalis na yung mga trabahador. Sabi ko, hindi ko nahihingi. Nakakahiya na, sobra-sobra na. Ito, sarili na natin. Sabi niya, wala ka naman pera. Pag-pray na lang natin. Sabi niya, bili na lang tayo sa Wilcon, yung made in China. Sabi ko, yung made in China kasi, wall tiles, hindi floor tiles. Madulas yun. So sabi ko, ibang floor. So sabi ko, huwag muna. Pag-pray muna natin. Sabi niya, hindi, kasi pag umalis na tong mga to at tinawag mo, may mobilization cost, mas mahal. Kaya, habang hindi pa sila aalis this week, bibili na ako. Sabi, pag-pray na lang natin, pag-usapan natin bukas. 4:00 ng hapon kami nag-usap. Kinabukasan, 8:30, tumawag ang bayaw ko sa kanya. Yung bayaw ko, katatayo lang ng isang gusali sa Makati, bahay niya. 4-story, may elevator. Bahay lang niya. Sa taas, pinagmamalaki na lahat imported. Pasadya sa Italy. Meron siyang tinatawag na travertine tiles. Yung tiles special cut. Saka yung material na yun, kapag malamig ang panahon, pag naapakan ko, medyo mainit-init. Kung mainit summer, pag apakan mo, medyo malamig-lamig. Special tiles daw. At that time, my brother-in-law, hindi pa born again yun Nung umaga na yun, maaga nagising. Kasi yun ang pinagmamalaki na may jacuzzi sa rooftop. And then yung tiles, nung house blessing, lahat pinapaturo. Itong masterpiece niya. Biglang umaga, naninigarilyo siya. Biglang hindi na nagustuhan yung tiles. Sabi niya, ayaw ko tong tiles. Pangit. So, naisip na kami. Sabi niya, kailangan mo bang tiles? Kasi kung hindi, papajackhammer ko na, pababakbakit mo, papalitan ko. Pero kung gusto mo, ipahinay-hinay ko na, tanggalin na lang para magamit mo. Sabi ni Sister Sia, kailangan nga namin eh. Alam mo, sa tuwa ng bayaw ko, kailangan nyo. Inayos niya, tinanggal niya, and then sa sobrang tuwa, meron pa siyang isang galing Italy na shower room enclosure, glass, and mamahalin yun, brand new. Sinama niya, siya na mismo nag-upa ng truck, siya na mismo nag-deliver sa amin. At nag-deliver, nagte-thank you pa. Nung nilatak ng tauhan, walang sobra, walang kulang. Parang para sa amin. Parang in-order namin. Anong ibig kong sabihin? That goes to the next altar. The altar of devotion and the altar of faith is when you dare to believe God, kahit na sa panahon na ito, internet age, miracles happen. That is the house I've been living for 13 years or 14 years na. You have been to that house? It's a miracle house. Daming mga may story, may testimony, halos lahat mga kagamitan eh. Genesis 13:5. Yun nga. The land was too small to keep them. Nakinabang naman si Lot eh. Yumaman si Lot dahil nakis-right on lang sa pananampalataya at obedience ni Abraham. Ngunit, mas mahalaga kay Abraham ang kanyang patotoo, ang kanyang testimony. Dahil sabi niya, what? There were Canaanites and Perizzites in the land. Nung nag-aaway-away mga tauhan nila, nakasulat, at that time, there were Canaanites, verse 7, at that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were living in the land. So Abraham said to Lot, please, let us not quarrel between you and me and between your people and me. Since we are relatives. In short, sinasabi niya, nakakasira ng testimony natin. Tayo kamag-anak, sa harapan ng dayuhan, nag-aaway tayo. Huwag naman. Iwasan natin, i-preserve natin testimony natin. Ganun na lang. Dahil ang pananampalataya ni Abraham ay hindi sa mga kasangkapan niya, sa kayamanan niya, ang pananampalataya ni Abraham ay nasa Diyos na walang limit. So sabi niya, hindi na sinasabi, maliit hindi kasya itong lupa. Sabi niya, ganun na lang. Kung pumunta ka sa kanan, sa kaliwa ako. Kung pumunta ka sa kaliwa, sa kanan ako. Sabi niya, is the land not big enough? Kasasabi lang, the land was not enough. But he said, is the land not big? Why? Because his God is not limited. He did not allow the land to to define the size of his God. He allowed God to define the size of his land. So he just said that, you choose for yourself. Biro mo. Yumaman ka dahil sa akin, pagkatapos siya pa binigyan ng karangalan na mas bata ka, nakakabata ka, ikaw pang pumili. Brutal din yung pamangkin niya, pinili niya, sinimut niya, yung pinakamaganda, lahat walang iniwan kay Abraham. Hindi naman napikon si Abraham, sobra ka naman, pinapili, gusto mo, simut lahat. Hindi, sabi na, okay, pinili niya, pinakamaganda. Pag alis po ni Lot, kumilos ang Panginoon. Sabi niya, look from where you are to the north, south, east, west, including the area that Lot chose. Binaliwala ng Panginoon usapan nila. Bakit? Bakit? Hindi naman sa kanya yung lote, sa akin yun eh. Ako magdi-decide. I-disregard ko yung pinili niya. Ikaw, sa bawat direction makikita mo, ibibigay ko sa'yo. Look from where you are. The problem with us, sometimes, we are looking at where we are. Nakatutok tayo sa sitwasyon natin, kalagayan na mahirap. No. Itong sitwasyon na to, binibigyan ka ng vantage point. Look from, mula dito, matatanaw mo yung kapaligiran mo. Ito mangyari sa'yo. Ito ang balak ng Panginoon sa'yo. Ito ang plano ng Panginoon sa'yo. Hindi yun nakatutok ka lang dito. Ang hirap, kawawa naman ako. Naawa tayo sa sarili natin. No, wherever you are, no matter how bad a position, that is a good place for you to look around. And that was what he did. He looked around. And then what happened? And then he built an altar. He built an altar in Mamre. He said in verse 18, so Abraham moved his tent, lumipat siya, then lived near the oaks of Mamre at Hebron. Bakit lumipat? Kasi naghiwalay na, pinili na ni Lot yung maganda. So, no choice siya, lumipat. Ngunit nung lumipat, bit-bit niya ang altar. Okay, lumipat ako, pero magtatayo pa ako ng altar. Dadalhin ko rin ang Panginoon sa paroroonan ko. I have 2 children abroad. One of them is in Singapore. When he was sent to Singapore, actually ni-recruit, hindi siya nag-apply. Pinirate siya ng Apple computer. Nung ni-recruit siya sa Singapore, ang unang ginawa niya, kasi 2 months binigyan ng Apple na 2 months sagot namin, 5-star hotel, doon habang nakahanap ka ng makakatira, may matitirhan. Saka maghanda kayo 2 months bago ka umpisa magtrabaho. Ang una niyang ginawa, naghanap siya ng simbahan. Sabi na, hindi pwede kahit nasa iba yung dagat ako, hindi pwede mawala yung wala akong church. He built his altar. Abraham went to Mamre. He has not been to Mamre first time. He built an altar there. That was the altar of devotion. That is the altar of faith. Kung minsan tayo, yumaman lang tayo, o masenso na tayo, busy na tayo, hindi na tayo nag-church. Kung minsan, habang walang trabaho, active tayo sa church. Nung na-promote tayo, madalang na tayo sa church. Lalo na nung lumipat na tayo sa subdivision, sa ibang syudad, hindi na tayo bumabalik sa church at wala na rin church na pinupuntahan. And eventually, we die a slow death spiritually. Some of us, when we started out in the ministry, it's because we love God, we want to serve God. Habang tumatagal, yung mga usapan ministry tungkol sa offering, tungkol sa sinong sikat, tungkol sa sinong mas malaking congregation, wala ng Panginoon. Wala ng Panginoon. Nagbago ang panukat natin sa tagumpay. Bakit? Lumihis po tayo sa standard. Lumihis po tayo sa altar. Stay close to the altar of faith and devotion. Be devoted to God. Good times and bad times. Hindi lang bad times. Bad times, tung taghirap tayo, madali naman maging relihiyosong tao tayo. Pray tayo ng pray, fast pa. Pero kung okay na, everything is doing well na, wala tayong, busy tayo. I'm sure lahat ng church may mga member na ganun Kung kailan pinagpala ng Panginoon, medyo madalang na pumupunta at para hindi sila mag-guilty, tuwing dadaan, magbibigay ng medyo malaki-laking offering, pampa-offset ng guilt. Mali po yun. So make sure, wherever you go, if the Lord will lead you to another place and you don't have an altar there, build an altar. Remember, the Lord brought me to this place. The Lord brought me to this place. And we will build an altar. How do we respond to a negative situation? If you have faith in God, hindi ka mukmuk, hindi ka magpa-politics, why? If somebody take advantage of you, if somebody bypass you sa promotion, if somebody overlook you or ignore you, mananatili ka lang ganun. Sumambang loob ni Abraham dahil pinili ng pamangkin niya, pinakamaganda. Walang utang na loob to Kung hindi dahil sa akin, wala siyang mga gamit. Ngayon, kinuha pa niya, pinili ko lang, ang kapal. Sinusubukan ko lang, sinirius niya, kinuha niyang pinakamagandang parte ng lupa. No. Okay lang siya. Bakit? Ang pananampalataya niya ay wala sa mga ari-arian, kung hindi sa Panginoon. He was able, at the altar of faith and devotion, he was able to distinguish the source from resources. Ito, resources lang to, come and go. Pero yun source na natiling Panginoon pa rin. At kapag yun ang klaro po sa atin, kung minsan maisahan tayo ng ibang tao, hindi tayo magiging bitter. Hindi tayo makikimkim ng samang loob. Dahil alam natin, ang provider natin, Panginoon, yun kinuha mo lang yun, marami pa si Papa. The Lord will continue to provide. He just makes sure that he did not harbor bitterness. Because faith and bitterness do not jive. It cannot stand together. When all the doors close on you, do you give up? Where do you go for help? Kung desperate ka na, hihingi ka sa iba? No. He looked to God. And that God gave him a better deal. Pinag-usapan mo yun isang lote, hindi, bibigyan ko sa'yo lahat na makikita mo. It was much bigger. Binigyan ko 1.5 million na lote kay Mang Igning. Wala akong natira. Yun ang sabi ng Panginoon Suportado pa ng misis ko. Anong nangyari? Kung hindi dahil tinamnan ko, nirelease ko yung binhi na yun, naniniwala ako, yung boss ko, hindi matutulog yun. Hindi walang kakausap sa kanya na bigyan ako ng house and lot. That's a living testimony. Kaya tuwang-tuwa si Peter Kairos kinikwento niya parati sa 700 Cup, saan sa pumunta, kinikwento Dahil bakit? He's been to the house, he saw it. He saw when everything, before we have a house, he saw that. When I gave Mang Ikning, he heard about that. In fact, sabi nga niya, Brother Willie, that is such a big seed. You don't have a house, but you give somebody a house. And I told him, I have a rich father. Tawa siya. Hindi niya akalain na later on. So kung the Lord answered actually I did not even ask for that. The Lord just blessed us. They saw the goodness of God. Hindi tayo malulugi to do the right thing. Hindi tayo malulugi. Kung minsan isipin natin, lugi kami mga Kristiyano Sila hindi sinusundan ng batas. Ako, kailangan sundin ng batas. Lugi ako disadvantage ang Kristiyano dito sa Pilipinas You have a big God. You built that altar of devotion to God. You built that altar of faith. And you let God surprise you. Stick and keep your values. Even if it's costly. Even if it seems disadvantage, if you will say, I will not compromise, then the Lord will come through to you. I'm standing before you. Actually, I don't want to share this story, but kaya sinishare ko yung patotoo ko dahil I want to let you know nangyayari itong mga miracle. At ito, hindi narinig ko lang, ito nangyari sa akin mismo. Napunta na si Pastora sa bahay namin, nakita niya yung bahay. Na ito hindi kwento-kwento lang. Totoo po yun. And if the Lord can do this to a 3,000 pesos life, the Lord can do to all of you if you will build that altar of devotion to Him. And in Genesis 22, 1 to 14, we can also apply this experience to this. Genesis 2, 22, 1 to 14. After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, here I am, he answered. Take your son, he said, your only son Isaac, whom you love. Go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains I will tell you about. So Abraham got up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took with him 2 of his young men and his son Isaac. He split wood for a burnt offering and set out to go to the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. Then Abraham said to his young men, yung mga katulong nila, stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there to worship, then we will come back to you. That was a statement of faith. Kasi he was supposed to sacrifice him there. Then Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac. Pinakarga kay Isaac. And in his hand he took the fire and the knife, and the 2 of them walked on together. Then Isaac spoke to his father Abraham. He said, Abba, here I am, my son. Isaac said, the fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Where is the lamb? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. God himself. Say God himself. Ang Panginoon mismo. Siya mismo. Hindi ibang tao. Siya mismo. Then the 2 of them walked on together. When they arrived at the place God had told them about, Abraham built the altar there and arranged the wood. He bound his son Isaac and placed him on the altar on top of the wood. Then Abraham reached out and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. He replied, here I am. Then he said, do not lay a hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know. Say, now I know. Ngayon, alam ko na Alam ko na ang laman ng iyong puso. Alam ko na ang sustansya ng iyong pananampalataya. Hindi lang pakitang tao, hindi lang parinig lang. Talagang may pananampalataya ka. Talagang naniniwala ka sa akin. That you fear God, since you have not withheld your only son from me. Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in the thicket by its horn. So Abraham went and took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering in place of his son. And Abraham called the place, the Lord will provide, Jehovah Jireh or Yahweh Yireh. So today it is said, it will be provided on the Lord's mountain. Now, know this. Baka iniisip nyo, bata pa si Isaac. Hindi po bata. Unang-una, malaki na po siya. Some said he's about 30-some years old. Bakit? Kaya niyang bitbitin yung mga kahoy. Kaya niyang umakyat na bitbit ng... Kahoy niya, hindi dalawang stick lang ha. Kung iaalay mo buong tupa, maraming kahoy yun. Mabigat po yun. Kaya niyang bitbitin. Ibig sabihin, malakas na siya. Malaki na siya. So nung pag-ahon niya, pagdating nila sa lugar na yon, hinanda niya at siya ay pinatong. Sabi nga ng mga scholars, kusa siyang umakyat sa altar. Kahit na bata, tatakbo, hindi ako papatali. Hindi kayang habulin ni Abraham. Matandaan si Abraham, anak, halika na. Hayaan mo, patayin kita. Hindi, walang takbuhan sila. Sige, habulan sila. Hindi kaya niya. Bago mahuli niya si Isaac, mamamatay na siya sa heart attack. But he himself willingly climbed up and let the father tie him. Mount Moriah is the site of future Jerusalem. Jerusalem is on Mount Moriah. In fact, some archaeologists said that area is where Golgotha is. That's why God said, oh, you've done that? I've seen that. Okay, credited to you as righteousness. Don't kill, I provide. Notice something. They were supposed to, tupa ang dapat iaalay nila. Sabi nga ni Isaac sa tatay niya, but where is the lamb? Lamb, tupa. Ano ang na-provide? Ram. Kambing. Iba po ang tupa at kambing. Pareho man sila kumakain ng damo, pareho man sila ng meh, pero ibang halaga. Makakabili ka ng kalderetang kambing dito, mura lang, pero sa lamb chops, mahal yun, daan-daan yun. Di ba? Mas mahal ng tupa. Yun provide pang samantala lamang, yun ram. Kailan tinupat ng Panginoon yung provision of the lamb? In John chapter 1, when John the Baptist saw Jesus coming and said, behold the Lamb of God, that was the answer to Genesis 22. Prophetically. Nung hinahanap, but where is the Lamb? Parating na. And that Lamb is not only for this sacrifice. That Lamb will die for the whole world to redeem the whole world's sin, including yours and mine. So this was a very rich structure. And notice something. So the question is our faith based on what we have? Kasi mahal na mahal niya yung anak niya eh. Gaanong katagal niya pinag-pray yung anak niya, pagkatapos isa-sacrifice lang ng Panginoon, sobra ka ng Panginoon, alam mo naman, pinaghirapan ko to, hihingan mo. Sobra naman, Panginoon, 1 taon ko nagsakripisyo at himala, binigyan ako ng bonus, pagkatapos sabihin mo, bibigyan ko kay Mang Igning. Ibig lang makita ng Panginoon ang laman ng puso natin. Lahat naman tayo sabi God will provide, Jehovah Jireh. Pero totoo ba yun? Ang nagsulat ng kantang Jehovah Jireh, si Merla Watson, matalik namin kaibigan ni Sister Cherry. Silang mag-asawa, Murph and Merla. Tuwing nagbubisita dito, kami ang sa kanila. In fact, ngayon nasa Canada, nag-email lang kami. Kinento niya sa akin, They wrote so many songs. Pero kininto nung pinakakilala yung Jehovah Jireh. Jehovah Jireh. So kininto niya, alam mo, sinulat niya yung kanta, December, Christmas. Wala silang pera. Missionary po sila sa Israel. So, Pasko na. Wala silang pera. So, nag-window shopping. Wala silang pang-shopping. Di mag-window shopping. So, titingin siya ng mga magagandang bagay na gustong-gusto niya. Pagkatapos, ibalik na niya. Ngiti lang siya. Sabi na, Jehovah, the Lord will provide. In pananampalataya ko, hindi sa laman ng bulsa ko. In pananampalataya ko, hindi sa presyo ng bagay sa Panginoon. And how the Lord would provide later. So sabi na, iniisip nila, galing kanta, ang hirap sulatan yung kanta na yun. Dahil sinulat yung kanta, binigyan ng Panginoon yung kanta na nung kami ay walang-wala. And yet we still choose to build the altar of submission. That is the fourth altar. The altar of submission or the altar of lordship. Bakit? Hindi siya nakipagdebate sa Panginoon eh. Hindi na may intindihan. Lord, ang labo mo naman. Binigay mo sa akin anak ko, pagkatapos ibabawi mo. Ano ka ba? Ang gulong kausapin. No. He did not understand. But just like what Lot did to Abraham, he did not understand, but he knew Abraham. He knew the credibility of Abraham. So, he followed Abraham. Same thing here. When Abraham could not understand the logic of God, you said, through my son, you will give me nations, and then gusto mo i-alay ko. He did not understand. And yet, he obeyed. He submitted. Kung minsan meron pinapagawa po sa atin ng Panginoon na hindi natin maintindihan. Kulang ng pera ko, gusto mo magbigay pa ako. Taghirap na ngayon, ang mahal-mahal ng gasolina, pagkatapos gusto mo pa, itong gawin ko. Hindi natin maintindihan. Nais lang makita ng Panginoon, may laman ba ang pananampalataya mo o ampaw lang? Sabi-sabi ng pakitang tao lang. Malaking Biblia mo pero walang laman yung puso mo. He chose to submit. He chose to believe. He said that my faith is not on my son. My faith is in the one who gave me my son. If you want to take it back, take it. Can we clearly distinguish, kilalanin natin, sino ba ang source natin, ang alin ang mga resources? Kung minsan, nahalo-halo na eh. Akala natin, ang source natin, ang sahot natin eh. Resource yun. Ang source, Panginoon. Siya ang nagbibigay ng trabaho sa atin. Hindi yung mga sahot natin. Hindi trabaho natin. Hindi contact natin. Hindi mister natin. Hindi boss natin. When we can clearly distinguish the gift from the giver, the source from the resource, then we will be able to build that altar to God. Do we hold everything with the loose hands? Or do we hold it tight? If the Lord will say, I want you to give it, parang yun finally, nabawi ko yung ginastos ko sa Dumaguete. Biglang sasabihin, bigyan mo siya. Hindi ko naman, bellboy yun eh. Kahit na 20,000, tuwang-tuwa na yun eh. Hindi naman ako obligado eh. I have good reason. But God was not arguing with me. What God was just asking. There are times when God will ask you to do something crazy. Mahirap itayo ang altar ng submission. Yun ang pinakamahirap itayo yun. But are you willing to build that altar of submission? Because it was through that altar, eventually, that the Lamb of God was given and was sacrificed on. We are talking about altar. You know, Abraham's faith was not in his family, was not in what he is comfortable about. Abraham's faith was not in his root. Kasi he was uprooted. He left his land, his people, his father's household. His faith was in God. He knew his way back when his faith was in the perfect God. Nung lumihis na siya, he recalibrated. Bumalik siya. Dahil ang Panginoon ang kanyang standard, bumalik siya sa salita ng Diyos. Bumalik siya sa altar. From Egypt, he traveled back. He traveled back where the altar was built. The altar of the promise. He was not, his faith was not in what he had, but in who he has. Yung mga bagay-bagay, sabi ng Panginoon, bigyan mo, okay lang, basta ikaw pa rin ang aking Panginoon. His faith was unconditional, even if he could not understand. Hindi na maintindihan lahat eh. Lord, alam ko, pangako mo na sa pamamagitan ni Isaac, bibigyan mo ko ng maraming apo at may bansa na manggagaling dito. Pagkatapos, gusto mo ialay ko yung anak ko, kaisa-isang anak na mahal ko. Hindi kita maintindihan, pero I trust you. I submit to you. Do we have these 4 altars in our lives? When we remember our root, the altar of the call, when we have the altar of the promise, when we have the altar of devotion and faith, when we have the altar of lordship and submission, we need to recalibrate from time to time and ask ourselves, Lord, am I still as excited as the time you met me and ministered to me? Am I still as in love with you as the time I got saved? That's why John said, Jesus said in John's revelation, he said that you have abandoned your first love. Go back to your first love. Alam mo, ang panahon natin ngayon ay ang mundo ay puno-puno ng mga monumento, ang museo at museum. Anong ibig sabihin? Yung monumento, yun ino-honor natin sarili natin, di ba? Parang may monumento dyan. Dahil ginugunita natin ang mga magandang ginawa ni Andres Bonifacio sa bayan. Pero may monumento, tulad ng monumento ni Saul, nagtayo siya ng monumento para sa sarili niya. Yun din ang ginawa ni Absalom. Buhay ka pa eh. Dapat yung monumento, ibang tao magtatayo. Siya sa sarili niya. Kasi hindi sila kampante, baka walang magtatayo. So, tinayuan nila sarili niya. They honor themselves. Kung minsan tayo po nagtatayo ng monumento sa sarili, alam mo ang galing ko dahil sa akin, lumaki in church ko. Dumami nga ganun-ganun. Tayo. Madalang natin binabanggit ang Panginoon. Ginagamit lang, purihin ng Diyos. Pero lahat, ako ang magaling, ako ang pogi. Pagkatapos, puno-puno ng museo. Alam mo, dati kumilos nung nag-umpisa ng church to, ang ganda ng mga miracle. Dati yun. Ngayon, huminto na ba? When we stop growing with God, we become historical. Pinag-usapan lang natin nakaraan. Ngayon, dapat patuloy-tuloy. Kung buhay ang kaugnayan natin sa Panginoon, tuloy-tuloy dapat ang mga naranasan nating himala, ang naranasan natin victory, hindi na dapat na uubos ang mga patotoo natin. Bakit? Dahil buhay pa rin ang kaugnayan natin sa Diyos at para araw-araw may sariwang patotoo tayo. That is what happened. So, it comes to that. So the thing, we ask ourselves, do I have this? Do I have this? Abraham did not have this. Are we going to have a break ba, Pastora? Meron? Okay, I'll just pause for a short break, no? And we will resume. But let me wrap this up, no? It is time that it's important na meron po tayong itong 4 na altar. At this altar will set us. So when you are doing things, make sure this is related to your love for God. Kasi kung minsan nawawala ng galak natin, kagalakan natin, yung tulang bagong born again lang tayo, excited tayo, ngayon parang wala lang. Dati, aga-aga tayo sa church. Ngayon, pang ilan service tayo? 9 o'clock ang start. 9:27 tayo dumarating. 2 weeks ago, I was attending a church. Tapos ng preaching, tsaka pumasok yung isang pamilya. Masyadong maaga sa susunod na service. So yun nga, naging masyadong marami kasi akala nila para mag-amen lang ako, okay na, present. Hindi. Kung natatandaan natin, ito ay pupunta ako dito, pumarito ako para sa presensya ng Panginoon. Aba, maaga yun. Kung may courtesy call ka sa mayor o sa presidente ng Pilipinas, kahit na 2 o'clock ang appointment mo, siguro hating gabi gising ka na, nag-parlor ka na, handang-handa ka na, maaga, naghintay ka na sa labas ng Malacanang. Bakit? Kasi baka ma-traffic, baka malate ako. Ayaw mo malate. Di bale, bakit? Importanteng tao ang imimit mo. So, hindi ba importanteng tao ang imimit natin tuwing linggo? So, if that is clear, if we have the altar of the call, we will never be late for church. We will be early and ready. Why? We come to meet with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. When we do things, we will do the best. Why? Hindi, pang ministry lang na, pwede na. Alam mo, last year, my friend and I, we were looking for camera for ministry. May isang Christian na ang trabaho, tinutulungan niya lahat ng simbahan. Pagdating sa IT, pagdating sa camera. Ang sabi po sa akin, sobrang mahal, pang church lang naman eh. Pang church lang naman, hindi kailangan ganun kamahal. Hindi kailangan ganun kaganda. Hindi naman yun pang TV eh. So, dream up namin siya. Kristiyano siya. Pero mali ang pananaw niya. Akala niya para sa Panginoon, para sa church, second class. No. If you know ito ay alay sa Panginoon, you give your best. You will insist on giving your best. So, later on, after the break, what we will talk about is about the altar itself. We talk about altar. What is an altar? What does it do? How can we nurture the altar? Okay, let's pray. Father, we pray once again, Lord, that you let your word sink into our spirit. Father, that we too will build our altar.